Listen carefully, because what I am about to say may disturb your comfort, but it will also unlock your destiny. Your life is not a product of your circumstances. It is a product of your choices. And your choices are birthed out of your thoughts. If you cannot discipline your thinking, you cannot discipline your life. Your life follows your thoughts because everything that exists in your reality first existed in your imagination. The mind is the soil, and every thought is a seed planted within it. When you allow doubt, fear, and limitation to dominate, you are planting weeds that will choke your potential. But when you choose to cultivate thoughts of possibility, faith, and determination, you are planting seeds of greatness that grow into actions, habits, and results that match the vision you hold. The difference between people who rise and people who remain stuck is not their circumstances, but their mindset. Two individuals can face the same storm, but one sees destruction while the other sees an opportunity to build stronger. This shows that the direction of your life is not determined by what happens around you, but by what happens inside of you. The thoughts you nurture create the lens through which you interpret the world, and that interpretation guides every step you take. Your decisions are the offspring of your thoughts. When your mind is filled with excuses, your choices will reflect procrastination and avoidance. When your mind is filled with belief and clarity, your choices will reflect boldness and intentionality. Every breakthrough in history began as a thought in someone's mind, and every downfall also began the same way. What you think consistently is the blueprint for what you build unconsciously. A mind that is undisciplined will wander into negativity, just as an unguarded garden will be overtaken by weeds. You cannot allow every thought to stay. You must choose which ones deserve residence in your mind. The thoughts you meditate on repeatedly become your beliefs, and your beliefs become your reality. If you believe you are powerless, your actions will reflect weakness. If you believe you are capable, your actions will reflect strength. Life mirrors your internal dialogue. If you keep telling yourself you are not enough, the world will treat you as if you are not enough. If you speak to yourself with courage, affirmation, and purpose, the world will eventually respond to that energy. The words you whisper in the privacy of your thoughts have the power to shape the public outcome of your life. Every habit begins with a thought. You cannot form the habit of discipline, focus, or persistence until you first entertain the thought that such a life is possible for you. Likewise, destructive habits are birthed when you continually dwell on thoughts of weakness, indulgence, and surrender. Thought is the origin of both excellence and mediocrity, and your daily choices reveal which stream of thought you have been drinking from. The most dangerous prison is not made of iron bars, but of limiting beliefs. People live decades in bondage because their mind is shackled by patterns of scarcity and fear. Yet those who change their thinking break free from invisible chains and discover that the door to their freedom was never locked. The key was always within them, hidden in the way they choose to think about themselves and the world. Your future is already written in the script of your thoughts. If you want to know where you will be 5 years from now, examine what you think about most today. If your mind is consumed with distractions, fear, and complaints, then chaos will follow. But if your mind is filled with vision, clarity, and solutions, then success is already on its way. The world simply aligns with the story you tell yourself repeatedly. Every external achievement is an internal victory first. The entrepreneur who builds wealth, the leader who inspires nations, the artist who creates beauty, All of them began their journey with disciplined thinking. They did not allow the noise of doubt to drown out the voice of possibility. They refused to let fear dictate their path, and instead, they trained their thoughts to serve their vision. When you take command of your thinking, you take command of your destiny. Thoughts are not random visitors. They are the architects of your reality. What you continually allow to occupy your mind eventually materializes in your life. The invisible becomes visible, the intangible becomes tangible, and the mental becomes physical. Your life, without exception, follows your thoughts. Guard your mental vault because your mind is the most valuable possession you will ever own. Within it lies the power to design your destiny, create wealth, develop character, and shape the entire course of your life. Just as a vault protects treasures from thieves, your mind must be protected from influences that seek to steal your potential. Every thought that enters your consciousness is either a deposit that increases your value or a withdrawal that robs you of strength. You must decide who and what gains access. Every day you are bombarded with noise, opinions, criticisms, fears, and distractions. If you allow everything to pass through unchecked, your mental vault becomes cluttered with junk that weakens your focus and dilutes your vision. Protection means discernment, and discernment means filtering. Not every voice deserves to be heard, not every idea deserves to be planted, and not every influence deserves to be trusted. Guarding your mental vault is the discipline of choosing what is worthy of your attention and what must be rejected at the door. Think about how banks operate. They don't place gold and valuables out in the open for anyone to touch. They store them in a secured place with multiple layers of protection. In the same way, your mind must be treated as a bank of destiny, a place where only the most valuable ideas, visions, and truths are deposited. Anything less is a contaminant, and contaminants weaken the integrity of what is precious inside. Your vault is not guarded by accident. It is guarded by intention. If you wake up and let the world dictate your thoughts through gossip, negativity, or endless distractions, you have already left your vault wide open. But when you wake up with focus, purpose, and intentional words of affirmation, you set the lock on your vault and protect what matters most. Guarding your mind requires daily discipline, not occasional effort. The mind you protect today determines the life you experience tomorrow. If you allow fear to slip into your vault, you will find fear multiplied in your decisions. If you allow doubt to enter, you will see hesitation reflected in your actions. But if you allow faith, courage, and wisdom to enter, you will see power, clarity, and confidence shaping your future. The vault never lies. It only multiplies what you deposit, what you watch, what you read, who you listen to, and the conversations you entertain are all potential deposits into your vault. Some people unknowingly bankrupt themselves because they let negative environments drain their mental wealth. Others increase their inner fortune by surrounding themselves with mentors, truth, vision, and wisdom. Guarding your vault means monitoring these deposits with relentless vigilance, because a single toxic influence can poison an entire storehouse of potential. Guarding your vault also requires self-awareness. You must know the cracks in your armor, the vulnerabilities in your thinking, and the temptations that easily sway you. A thief doesn't always enter through the front door. Sometimes it sneaks in through the cracks you forgot to seal. Guarding your mind is not only about protecting against external forces, but also about mastering the internal patterns that try to sabotage your own growth. The quality of your vault determines the quality of your future. If your mind is filled with clutter, confusion, and chaos, your life will mirror that chaos. But if your mind is filled with focus, clarity, and disciplined thought, your life will reflect order and direction. Life does not reward people based on what they want. It rewards people based on what they think consistently, because thought is the blueprint that action follows. Consider how builders use blueprints. They don't start construction without a clear design. In the same way, your mind is the design room where every future result is crafted before it manifests. If your vault is filled with faulty blueprints, your life will be unstable. But if your vault is filled with strong, precise, and powerful designs, your life will stand as a structure of strength. Guarding your vault ensures that only strong blueprints are stored and followed. Guarding your mental vault is not about living in fear of ideas, but about living in wisdom with ideas. It is not about avoiding the world, but about controlling what of the world is allowed to take root in your consciousness. A vault without a guard is an invitation to theft, but a vault with a guard is a fortress of wealth. The choice of what you let in and what you keep out is the very choice that shapes the story of your life. Discipline turns thought into destiny because a thought by itself is only potential, but discipline is what gives that potential structure and direction. Every person has ideas, dreams, and desires, but without discipline, they remain nothing more than scattered images in the mind. Discipline takes those ideas and transforms them into action, and repeated action becomes habit, and habit becomes character, and character ultimately shapes destiny. It is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. The difference between wishful thinking and powerful thinking is discipline. Many people think about success, but only those who discipline their thoughts align their actions with that vision. Discipline takes the random sparks of creativity and focuses them into consistent energy that produces results. A thought without discipline is like lightning without control, bright for a moment, but gone without impact. A thought with discipline is like electricity harnessed. It powers cities and transforms lives. When you discipline your thinking, you are not just dreaming, you are building. You train your mind to reject distractions and focus on the path that leads to your desired future. Thoughts by nature are fleeting, but discipline captures them, organizes them, and directs them into constructive patterns. Without that order, thoughts drift, scatter, and eventually fade into nothingness. With order, thoughts gather strength and momentum until they shape reality. Discipline is the filter that separates useful thoughts from useless ones. Every day, countless thoughts compete for your attention, but not all of them deserve to stay. Some are born out of fear, doubt, or laziness, and if left unchecked, they will sabotage your progress. Discipline identifies the thoughts that align with your vision and rejects the ones that weaken you. This constant filtering process ensures that your mind is not cluttered with noise, but filled with clarity that pushes you forward. A disciplined thought does not just exist for today, it carries the power to influence generations. History is filled with individuals whose disciplined thinking created inventions, movements, and legacies that outlived them. They did not just allow thoughts to float around, they harnessed them, refined them, and acted on them until the world could not ignore the results. Their destiny was not a product of chance, but of disciplined mental commitment. Without discipline, thoughts can become dangerous. The undisciplined mind is prone to procrastination, excuses, and self-sabotage. It will entertain fantasies without ever producing action. It will nurture fears until they grow into barriers. But when discipline governs thought, Even the smallest idea can grow into a powerful movement. Discipline turns fragile sparks into controlled flames that light the way to greatness. The destiny of every individual is not written by outside forces, but by the repeated patterns of thought disciplined into action. Each disciplined thought is like a brick, and with every brick you are constructing the structure of your future. You may not see the full building immediately, but day after day, thought after thought, decision after decision, the structure rises until it becomes visible to the world. Discipline also gives thought endurance. A thought without discipline will die in the face of difficulty, but a disciplined thought persists through obstacles, setbacks, and time. It is not easily shaken because it has been trained to stand firm. This endurance ensures that temporary circumstances cannot derail long-term purpose. Thoughts that endure become destinies fulfilled, not dreams abandoned. Discipline refines thought into clarity. When your mind is disciplined, it does not scatter energy in 10 directions. It focuses like a laser on one path until results appear. This clarity reduces confusion, eliminates wasted effort, and magnifies the impact of every action. A focused thought empowered by discipline can accomplish more than 1,000 undisciplined wishes. It is clarity that transforms vision into reality. Destiny is not a mysterious force that randomly selects people. It is the inevitable outcome of disciplined thought. Every great leader, every innovator, every success story began with a thought that was sharpened, structured, and sustained by discipline. Thought gives birth to possibility, but discipline raises it to maturity. The two together form the foundation upon which every life story is built, and the quality of that story is determined by the strength of discipline shaping the direction of thought. Take command of your mind daily, because the mind left unattended becomes a breeding ground for doubt, fear, and confusion. Every single day, you are either programming your mind or being programmed by your environment. If you do not take control of the flow of thoughts, outside voices will take control for you, and they will not always lead you toward your highest potential. Commanding your mind is not a one-time event. It is a daily responsibility that determines the direction of your life. When you wake up, your mind begins to absorb input immediately. What you see, what you hear, and what you think in those first moments sets the tone for the entire day. If you begin with hesitation and negativity, your day will follow that pattern. If you begin with clarity, gratitude, and determination, you position yourself for productivity and strength. Taking command of your mind at the start of each day is like steering a ship. Even a small adjustment early creates a massive difference in destination later. Commanding your mind daily requires awareness. You must become conscious of the thoughts that attempt to dominate your focus. The mind has a tendency to drift, to wander into worry about the past or fear of the future. Without awareness, that drift becomes your default. But when you catch yourself and redirect your thinking, you reclaim authority over the mental space that shapes your actions. Awareness is the first step to mastery. To command your mind is to give it clear instructions. A soldier without orders is lost, and the mind without direction will chase anything. You must tell your mind what to focus on, what to reject, and what to magnify. If you don't instruct it, it will follow the strongest influence around it, whether that influence is productive or destructive. Daily affirmations, written goals, and intentional focus are the commands that shape the battlefield of thought. Consistency is the secret to effective command. Taking control of your mind once and then letting it drift for weeks will not produce transformation. It is the daily discipline of redirecting, refocusing, and reinforcing empowering thoughts that builds mental strength, just as physical muscles are strengthened by repeated exercise. Mental authority is strengthened by repeated practice. Each day you command your mind, you increase your ability to resist distraction and pursue clarity. Taking command of your mind daily also requires protecting your environment. If you surround yourself with constant negativity, no amount of discipline can fully withstand the pressure. Commanding your mind is not just about what happens internally, but also about the external influences you allow to shape your thoughts. Guard your time, guard your conversations, and guard your attention as carefully as you guard your goals, because they are all connected. The mind you command daily becomes the life you live consistently. Small victories in thought accumulate into major victories in life. Every time you choose focus over distraction, discipline over laziness, and courage over fear, you are training your mind to obey your highest values instead of your lowest impulses. Over time, this training creates habits that no longer require